sanctuary, we invite you to take a seat. We'll invite you to grab your sidurim. For those who are joining us on live stream, we also invite you to take a seat, finding your space for tefillah, your makom tefillah. And we have a very exciting Shabbat ahead for us. We'll be celebrating as we go into the summer. It's getting warmer. Even today, as I was walking to shul, I felt the energy of summer upon us. Even in New York, today was a hot and humid day, and so it's really here. And part of summer for many of us here in the BJ community is our experience at summer camp, at Jewish summer camp, which led many of us to this point. I can speak for myself that it led me here. And so we wanted to bring to you a little bit of that camp ruach, that spirit from camp that will be pulling into our tefillah this evening and into our Shabbat, giving us extra energy, giving us that extra soul. And so we have a different group up here from our Family Life and Learning Department. So as a way to get to know some of us, and we'll invite you also to use this as a time to ground yourself, I wanted to ask a question from each of you, and I'll introduce who is here with me, about our Parsha. I wanted to base it in our Parsha this week. Behalotcha is a Parsha where we find out that there are many things that are happening. The Jews are in the desert, but one story in particular that has always stood out to me in this Parsha is the idea of Pesach Sheni, which means that there's a second chance. There's a group of people who are not considered pure at the time that the sacrifice, the Pesach sacrifice, is given in the desert. And they come and they say to Moses, we weren't able to give the sacrifice at this moment when you were all did it as a community, but we still really want to do that. We still really feel inspired and we want to serve. We want to be in relationship with God. Can you please ask if we can have a chance to give this sacrifice? And I was thinking so much. Actually, I usually think about this story, which we're going to hear from Josh, who's celebrating his bar mitzvah, about second chances and differences in relationships. But the part that actually stood out to me in this story is this eagerness to serve and this eagerness to be in relationship with God and with community through ritual. And camp, I know for me, was the place where I think that eagerness started, where I said, I want to be in relationship with God. I want to be in relationship with Jewish tradition. And so I wanted to ask those who are with us. First, we'll start with Rachel Barnehama, who's the Associate Director of the Family Life and Learning Department. And I wanted to ask each of you, so you can start thinking, what is it about your camp experience that has inspired your spiritual journey or has brought you to this point in your spiritual journey? So we'll start with Rachel.
Great. For me, it was spending every Friday night davening Kabbalat Shabbat, looking over the lake, watching the sunset, and the peacefulness and the community that I felt surrounding me, and that in that moment, I think has carried me into my work today.
Beautiful, beautiful. And we'll turn to Ari, our Hazzan, who's on the piano this evening. He may be more familiar face for some of you. And he also grew up going to camp. So share with us a little bit, Ari, about your spiritual journey and how camp plays into that.
So there are two things that come to mind. One is I grew up going to Camp Ramah, but in Argentina. So this was somewhere in the 70s. And what I remember is the Marshall's house was a tiny bit higher than everything else. And I remember all the kids will be dressed in white and seeing Marshall and the Holden Allah coming down, everybody dressed in white. That was actually something that stayed with me since I was a little kid. And the other part that also I remember, which was that I did not grow up in a religious home. So camp was the first introduction to a Shabbat that lasted the 25 hours. So in a way, that was the guide for Shabbat.
Beautiful. Thanks, Ari. And we have Michael Harlow, who is our musician in residence and for our department, and is a different title. Give me the title.
Actually, today it's music/teen educator.
Music/teen educator. So Michael Harlow.
I grew up and still spend time at Camp Ramah in the Rockies in Colorado, and For me, it was really special to be part of something that felt so big, that being the community and the energy that was there, while also being surrounded by something that made me feel so small, being the Colorado Rockies, which are just a tremendous sight, and kind of wrestling with that difference there and feeling the value of both of those things.
Beautiful. And Mike Witman, the director of the Family Life and Learning Department.
So mine is kind of obvious. I am all about the Ruach. I am all about the Spirit. And now I grew up at Crane Lake. I grew up at Eisner, and now I'm at Crane Lake. And tefillah there is all about Ruach and hand motions and people getting up. And so Shabbat Shalom, and I wish for you on this Camp Shabbat for you to do the same. When you have a feeling that you want to move your hands, to sing, to dance. That is what gave me the Spirit, was at camp, was this feeling of Ruach.
Beautiful. So we'll invite everyone, whether you were a camper or spent summers elsewhere, this is the opportunity to think, what is it that makes you want to serve? What is it that brings you here tonight, wherever you may be, into the services, and to bring that Ruach, that spirit of Shabbat, into our tefillah, that special camp spirit? We'll begin with Yedid Nefesh, page 10, or page 252 if you're using the Sim Shalom. 11 or page 254. Lechune Ranana, let us go and let us sing together.
Arba'im shana akut bador ve'omar amtei levavhem ve'hem lo yadu derachai asher nishbati be'api im yavohu na menuchati
Shiru Adonai Shir
Hallelujah.
ירננו כל עצי יער, אז ירננו כל עצי יער, אז ירננו כל עצי יער, אז ירננו כל עצי יער לא שדי וכל אשר בו יער לא שדי יער לא שדי וכל אשר בו יער לא שדי
We continue on page 15 or page 255. Adonai malach tegel haaretz. Tzedek u'mishpat nachon. Bottom of page 16.
Or zarua batzadik u'yisheleh simcha. Or zarua batzadik u'yisheleh simcha. Or zarua batzadik u'yisheleh simcha. U'yisheleh simcha. Or zarua batzadik u'yisheleh simcha. U'yisheleh simcha. Or zarua batzadik u'yisheleh simcha. Or zarua batzadik u'yisheleh simcha. Or zarua batzadik u'yisheleh simcha. U'yisheleh simcha. Simcha tzadikim Adonai Lezecher Kodsho.
Continue on page 17.
שירו לאדוני שיר חדש כי נפלאות עשה הושיע לו ימינו וזרועתו הודיע תשועתו לעיני הגויים גילה צדקתו זכר חסדו ואת תמונתו Let's go.
pick up just a few lines from the bottom of page 20, page 258 in the Sim Shalom. David, page 21, page 260 in the Sim Shalom. Everyone to take a seat. We'll hear a few words from the Sloane family, from Leslie and Brian, who throughout this evening will hear people sharing their experiences of camp, and also, as we started with, that push of what has driven them to service, and camp being a large part of that for many of us here tonight. So Shabbat Shalom and welcome to Leslie and Brian.
I recently looked at my yearbook for my high school in St. Paul, Minnesota, and counted 17 Jewish kids out of 400 in my graduating class. Growing up in a place like that is very different from growing up in New York. People threw eggs at our house because we were Jewish. Other parents wouldn't allow their kids to go on play dates with me because I was Jewish. And a lot of other stories that are not fit for a family audience this evening. It sometimes wasn't a pleasant place to grow up. Then there was Camp Ramon, Wisconsin. For 6 glorious summers, I traveled to a place where everyone was Jewish and where it was easy and fun to be Jewish. I learned how to umpire a softball game in Hebrew. I learned different nusach than what I had grown up with. And I made the best friends, Jewish friends who I'm still close with today. Going to Camp Ramah is the reason that I moved to New York. The reason I met my wife is the reason that we pass the Jewish tradition on to our children. For Jewish kids who are growing up in places other than New York, like the upper Midwest, where there aren't a lot of other Jews, Jewish summer camp is the most important place for them to find a community.
Shabbat Shalom. I went to Camp Laurelwood in Madison, Connecticut for 8 weeks every summer from 1990 to 1994. I grew up in a Connecticut town with not so many Jewish friends. My parents were founding members of a conservative synagogue because there wasn't one in our town. My parents grew up with not so much religion, and they chose to raise my brother and I amidst a very tight-knit Jewish community, but albeit small. But it was at camp that I first learned about kashrut. It was there that I met kids who went to day school and came to understand what their experience was to grow up in a community of Jewish friends and being surrounded by many other Jewish families. And it was through my camp friends that I went to bar and bat mitzvahs every weekend for 2 entire years. Of course, the parties were great, but it was also an experience of seeing so many different synagogues, each have their own way of celebrating my friends entering into Jewish adulthood. Those memories stuck with me and led me to Hillel during college, then the JCC here in Manhattan, and B'nai Jeshurun as an adult. We sent our kids through the JCC summer camps, and now this summer we're going to send our oldest son to Camp Ramah in the Poconos for his first summer at Jewish sleepaway camp. While I will miss him terribly, I'm also excited to see how camp broadens his Jewish horizons in ways that will stay with him for life.
Beautiful. So we invite you to bring in, once again, all of that energy, that extra spirit. We get an extra soul on Shabbat as we turn and we welcome the Shabbat Queen, page 23, page 262, L'chadodi.
שבת נקרא לך דודי לקראת כלה בני שבת נקרא segula, boi chala, Shabbat
Continuing with the Psalm for Shabbat, feeling the beauty of Shabbat upon us, page 27, page 266. bebeit Chana v'kodesh Adonai leorech yamim. We'll pause between Kabbalat Shabbat and Mariv to hear a few words about camp from Eden Holden, who is heading off to camp in just a little over a week. Is that right? A little over a week. So we invite her up to share a bit of the camp spirit with us.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
As the school year ends and camp approaches, everything reminds me of camp. A song on the radio, a sunset, or a prayer. Being here right now reminds me of Shabbat at camp. Every Friday looks the same. It looks like showering, trying on dresses, running bunk to bunk because you have nothing to wear. But once everyone is dressed, the pictures happen. Everyone is standing in the same condensed space, trying to find your friends or family for a picture. Then, once everyone is rushed to get settled in the amphitheater, you look out into the glistening sun and seeing it set on the water and reflecting beautiful colors. When the service of Kabbalat Shabbat starts, everyone is singing. It makes me feel like I'm part of something bigger. Once the service is over, everyone on the oldest side of camp runs to where we eat. After everyone enters, someone leads Kiddush, and everyone gets into it. We're all swaying, singing, and sometimes even banging on the table. Once you get your hot matzo ball soup, chicken, challah, and grape juice, you're all set. After dinner, there is Friday night Shirah, special singing on Shabbat. It's my favorite part of camp, in my opinion, because everyone comes together, sings the same songs, does the same dance moves, and it brings everyone together. The oldest kids lead you in songs. Everyone is singing, dancing, and screaming. Kids in my bunk would see who could lose their voices. I always did. 5 of the oldest campers are picked to be leaders. They add their inside jokes from the past week, and everyone freaks out. Then the oldest kids leave, and the rest of us spend some more time singing. Then, once that's over, everyone goes back to their bunks. The girls go to the pagoda in the middle of the girls' circle, and sing some more songs. At the end of the night, we all go back to our bunks and get ready for bed Shabbat style, which means no showering, no using our electric toothbrushes, and no turning on or off the lights. We get told stories from counselors about their time at camp and go to sleep. Camp makes it so much easier to have a connection to my Jewish identity because there is Judaism all around. We pray in the morning, before and after meals, and even get encouraged to lead services and read Torah. Everyone comes from different households, and everyone expresses their Jewish identity differently. During camp, we all come together and pray as a community. Camp has helped me find my Jewish identity by giving me the opportunity to read Torah and lead services. Camp has made it easier to develop my link to Jewish identity throughout the year, especially here at BJ, where I'm able to explore Judaism and hang with friends. My parents met working at camp. Both my brothers go to camp. One will be a counselor for his second year, and the other one will be going for his second summer. My cousins go to camp with me, and my uncle went too. It's a part of who I am, just like being Jewish. It's hard to imagine who I'd be if I wasn't a camper at Camp Ramah in the Berkshires. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. Beautiful being a part of who we are, our Jewish identity, our communities, and as we transition into Mariv, which you'll find on page 39A or 279, we're going to invite up Orli and Annie, who are our team leaders this evening, and will be led by them and some of our camp children who are joining us this evening for Mariv. So I invite you to rise on page 39A or 279 for Baruch.
Oh
Baruch Adonai Hamelach Leolam Vaed.
You may be seated.
El Chai V'Kayam Tamid Yimloch Aleinu Leolam Vaed. Baruch Atah Adonai Hamari V'Ravi.
Avat Olam Beit Yisrael Amcha Ahavta Torah u'mitzvot Chukim u'mishpatim Otanu limadeta Al ken Adonai Eloheinu V'shochleinu v'kumeinu Nasiach b'chukecha V'nismach v'divrei Toratecha U'v'mitzotecha Le'olam va'ed Ki hem chayinu ve'orech yameinu ve'orech yameinu U'vahem nehege yomam v'layla Yomam v'layla
Ve'ahavatcha atasir mimenu leolamim. Baruch Atah Adonai Ohev Amo Yisrael. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha bechol levavcha uvechol nafshecha uvechol meodecha ve'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi metzavecha hayom al vavecha ve'shinantam lemanecha ve'dibarta bam be'shivtecha be'beitecha u'leftecha b'derech u'shofecha u'kumecha u'kshartam leot al yadecha ve'hayu l'totafot b'neinecha u'ktavtam al mezuzot beitecha u'b'yisharecha.
Page 44, you will find Michamocha. Page 290 on Sim Shalom.
Be
יבוא שלום עלינו, עוד יבוא שלום עלינו, עוד יבוא שלום עלינו ועל כולם. עוד יבוא שלום עלינו, עוד יבוא שלום עלינו, עוד יבוא שלום עלינו ועל כולם. שלום עלינו ועל כל העולם, שלום שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל העולם, שלום שלום. עוד יבוא שלום עלינו, עוד יבוא שלום עלינו, עוד יבוא שלום עלינו ועל כולם. עוד יבוא שלום, עוד יבוא שלום עלינו, עוד יבוא שלום עלינו, עוד יבוא שלום עלינו ועל כולם. שלום עלינו ועל כל העולם, שלום שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל העולם, שלום שלום. ופרוס עלינו סוכת שלומך, ברוך אתה אדוני, הפורס סוכת שלום עלינו ועל כל עמו ישראל, ועל כל יושבי תבל ועל ירושלים.
Iba'ar v'tramami naseh, v'tadar, v'taleh, v'talal, shmei kudusha brichu, leila mikol berchata v'shirata.
Tu shvechata v'nechemata, v'amiran be'alma.
You'll find the Amidah on page 47 or page 296 in Sim Shalom facing east.
Shalom Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'al kol yoshvei Tehillah ve'imru Amen. Oseh Shalom Imroma Shalom Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'al kol yoshvei tevel
continue with Vayacholu on page 53, page 314 on Sim Shalom.
ויחלו השמיים
והארץ וכל צבאם ויחל אלוהים ביום השביעי מלאכתו אשר עשה וישבות ביום השביעי מכל מלאכתו אשר עשה ויברך אלוהים את יום השביעי ויקדש אותו כי בו שבת מכל מלאכתו אשר ברא אלוהים לעשות.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei Avotenu Imotenu Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzhak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Konei Shamayim va'aretz. Magin Avot
bidvaro
Mechayim Mitzim B'mamaro, Ha'el HaKadosh Shein Kamohu, Hameniach Le'avo B'yom Shabbat Kodsho, Ki Baratza Lehaniach Lahem, Lefanav Navod Be'irav Hafachad, V'nodeh Lishmo B'chol Yom Tamid, Me'on HaBerachot, El Hoda'ot Adonai Shalom, Mekadesh HaShabbat U'borech Shvi'i, Hameniach B'kedusha, Le'ad Mikdush Me'oneg, Zecher L'Maaseh Bereshit.
Inu v'Elohei avotenu ritzei b'mnuchatenu kachenu b'mitzvotecha v'ten chalkenu b'toratecha savenu mituvecha v'samchenu b'yeshuatecha v'ta'er libeinu le'avdecha ve'emer ve'hanchileinu Adonai Eloheinu be'ava u'bratzon Shabbat kodshecha ve'anuchu va'Yisrael mikadeshei shemecha Baruch atah Adonai mikadesh HaShabbat.
Kaddish Shalom on page 54, page 316 on Sim Shalom.
Yitgadal v'yikadash shemei Rabbi, ve'alma tivrach yirutei, ve'amlich malchutei, v'chayechonu v'yamechonu, v'chayedecho beit Yisrael, v'galav v'zman kari ve'imeru.
Amen. Yishme'a v'mevorach, v'olam v'olam yibarach.
Yibarach v'yishtabach, v'yipa'ar v'yitramah v'yinaseh, v'yitadar v'yitalev v'yitalal, shmei kudusha brichu, leila mikol berchata v'shirata, tush berchata v'nechemata, tamira ve'ama, yimru, amen. תתקבל סרטון ובתיכו, תיכו ישראל, קדם אבלון דבישמיה ואימרו.
Amen.
יהי שרבה בשמיה, וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואימרו.
Amen.
עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום. עלינו ועל
Kiddush for Shabbat, page 55, and we're going to invite Josh to join us. Joshua Katz is celebrating his bar mitzvah this weekend, who will lead us in Kiddush. All who are at home, you can go. Here we go. Great, so we're going to pass out some Kiddush for everyone here, and anyone joining us who is at home, please feel free to grab a glass of wine or some grape juice to join us for the Kiddush.
Kiddush on page 55.
Baruch Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen.
Amen.
Baruch Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu mimitzvotav Ratzavanu v'Shabbat kodsho b'hava u'b'ratzon Kinchinanu zikaron l'maseh bereshit Ki hun yom tehillah l'mikra'ei kodesh Zecher l'tziat Mitzrayim Kivanu b'chata ve'atanu b'ashta Mikamin V'Shabbat kodesh ve'ahava u'ratzon Kinchatanu Baruch atah Adonai Mekadesh HaShabbat.
Amen. L'chaim, l'chaim. We invite you to take a seat. We'll hear one last word of memory and of joy of camp from Anne Herlick. We invite you up, and then we'll conclude with more blessings and bringing in of this Ruach of camp.
I was not the kid who liked Hebrew school or synagogue. I spent most of my time trying to find a way out of the classroom or the sanctuary. I found Judaism alienating and uninspiring. Sorry. Okay. One summer, a family friend told us about a socialist Zionist camp in Ottsville, Pennsylvania called Camp Galil. My mother liked the socialist part because she was a socialist, and my father liked the Jewish part as he was more religious than my mother. My friend's parents expressed concern that maybe my sister and I would go there and want to make Aliyah. What they didn't count on was that my camp experience would open up a meaningful Jewish life for me. Camp Galil is not a typical camp. Youth run the camp from planning to working. Campers have opportunities to share the responsibility for their community. The youth leadership plans and implements educational programming and daily activities. They plan and run special days around themes that are both creative and inspiring. When I was a kid, we had Yom Shtetl, where we dressed up in babushkas and ended the night with a reenactment game of escaping to Israel called Aliyah Bet. They still have Aliyah Bet, but the special days are called Time Warp and Revo. Revo, where the kids revolt, like revolution, and kick the counselors out of camp and take over for the day. The kids, or Chanechim, they cook in the kitchen, tend to the garden, take care of the pool, and serve the meals. They even take care of our sheep, the camp mascot. I can say that Shabbat is the most look forward to time at camp. We say blessings, sing, and end the night with hours of Israeli dancing. Havdalah is also a favorite time at camp. After lighting candles and saying the blessings, there's a weekly talent show around a campfire. For those of you who have attended the Reach for Shabbat retreat, this should sound very familiar. At Camp Galil, Jewish rituals suddenly became activities I looked forward to and sought out. I no longer was running from religious Jewish life, but running towards it. For me, and now I see in my kids, camp instilled leadership abilities, how to be a part of a group, and how to talk about social issues and debate Israeli politics, and especially to feel like Judaism is a part of life and can be expressed in multiple ways. I feel like camp gave me my life. It let me understand what it means to be Jewish, gave me a husband, and now gives my children a shared experience with me and my husband. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. Yasher Koach to Anne. And so with that, we invite all of our children up, all of our children and teens, everyone here, anyone here who is joining us for a very special blessing. For those who are going off onto summer adventures, who may be going to camp, maybe a transition summer between the end of high school, the beginning of college, we invite all of you to join us under the chuppah. We'll make a chuppah out of our talitot. We have a lot of kids. Let's just use one of these. We can hold two, so we can invite people up to help hold them too, because we have lots of children here tonight, which we're so excited about. Yisimech Elohim kesar Rivka Rachel v'Leah. Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha. Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'yichunecha. Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. And we add, we say, Mishaberach Avotenu v'Imotenu. May the one who blessed all who came before us bless all of our children and our teens who are about to embark on summer journeys. May it be a summer full of delicious ice cream and popsicles. May it be a summer that is full of nourishment and spirit, of connecting with the divine in the relationships you have. May it be a summer full of ruach, that special energy of Shabbat at camp, of Yom Sport or Color War, victories for all. At my camp, they said everyone is a winner, so everyone is a winner here. May it be a summer of self-discovery and growth and feeling that you can be the best you that you are, in enjoying the sun, and may God shine God's face upon you. And we say, Amen. 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 And we invite you to rise for Aleinu. Our children will stay up here to help us lead Aleinu, and we face the ark. Page 56, page 320.
Aleinu leshabeach ladon hakol, v'ategular yotzei b'reshit. שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהן, וגורלנו ככל עמלון, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש
ככתוב בתורתך, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. ונאמר
אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד.
And we invite those who are in mourning or marking your sites to remain standing. Our children will stay up here, but quietly. And we'll say Mourner's Kaddish together. Those who are on Zoom can unmute at this time. Page 58, page 324. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, be'almad zivra kirutei ve'amlich malchutei, b'chayechon u'b'yomechon u'b'chaye dechol Beit Yisrael, ba'agala v'zman kariv v'imru amen. Yehi shmei Rabbah mevarach le'olam olamei olmaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yinaseh. V'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei d'kedusha b'richu. La'ela min kol berchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, ta'amiram be'alma v'yimru amen. Yehi shalama Rabbah min shemaya v'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'yimru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'al kol yoshvei tevel v'yimru amen. You may be seated. Shabbat shalom to everyone. Camp Shabbat shalom to everyone. So now we have that Camp Ruach. I think we feel it. I think we're leaving with more energy than we came, feeling that extra soul of Shabbat, and a lot of gratitude to the Family Life and Learning team who helped put this together, and to all of our children who are helping to lead services this evening, and our teens. A really beautiful experience, and I am certain that this was the best send-off to camp for all of us. All of us who wish we were in camp this summer, this is the best send-off we could ask for. As a community, we send our condolences to Julie and David Braille and their entire family, all of their children, on the death of Julie's father, Marlow Marcus. And on the other side of the life cycles, we say Mazal Tov, and we celebrate to Josh Katz and his parents who are here, Dan and Jen and his sister Samantha, and his grandmother Renee Ritter on Josh's becoming a bar mitzvah this Shabbat. So we look forward to more. He did a beautiful Kiddush. And we say Mazal Tov to Rachel Ruskin and Adam Chernikoff and Rachel's parents, Brad Ruskin and Susan, and to her sister Meredith and the entire family on Rachel and Adam's upcoming wedding. And to Bob and Elise Yadid on the marriage of their son, Rabbi Dave Yadid, to Daniel Eisenberg. Mazal Tov. And we'll continue our celebration of Shabbat at 9:30 tomorrow morning with Josh's bar mitzvah. And also we have Kulanu services for our 3rd through 6th grade families in the chapel. And at 11 o'clock, early childhood services will happen in the reception room as well. And following Shabbat services tomorrow morning is Kiddush and a Kiddush gathering. So we'll have the opportunity to gather with the Tzedek Centers, and you can join us for a conversation with Amit Ben Ami and Lev Littman of the Tzedek Centers, and Alam Kasim Ali from Agil. If you are watching on live stream and joining us from afar, we're going to be streaming that presentation and also that discussion, so please do join us for that. And after a long summer Shabbat, we are gathering at 9:20 for Aravit and Havdalah, which will be taking place after services this evening. Also, there is an Aviv 20s and 30s pop-up Jamaican Shabbat dinner on the roof. So if you're here for that, or you didn't know about it, but you're in your 20s or 30s and want to join, I will let you find Jade, but I hope that there's extra space there for you. And just a few things that are coming up to be aware of, that the BJ offices are closed on Monday, and this is for Juneteenth, and is a way of us to reaffirm our commitment to ridding our world of the racial injustice that still continues and persists. Our offices are closed on Juneteenth. And coming up, we will have a shir on Aliyot for all genders with Rabbi Guy Austrian. That'll be on Wednesday, the 22nd. And a 30s and 40s summer happy hour on the roof at 6:30, also on Wednesday. The shir will be at 5:30. And then next Shabbat, we'll be celebrating Pride Shabbat with storytelling and opportunities for gathering for dinner and services. And finally, I'll just conclude with the upcoming New York primary elections. Please make sure there are elections on June 28th and August 23rd. Please make sure that you're registered and you can vote and that all of our voices can be heard in these upcoming elections. And once again, a lot of gratitude for a beautiful Camp Shabbat. We're going to conclude with a very special Oseh Shalom. So we invite you to really, really muster up all of that ruach and spirit, that enjoyment, that dancing, that clapping. This is the time you're welcome to get on your feet and join us for Oseh Shalom.
Shalom in Roma. Shalom Aleinu. Oseh Shalom in Roma. Shalom Aleinu. Oseh Shalom in Roma. Shalom Aleinu. Yaseh Shalom. Yaseh Shalom. Shalom Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh Shalom. Yaseh Shalom. Shalom Aleinu ve'al kol Yoshvei Tevel. Yaseh Shalom. Yaseh Shalom. Shalom Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh Shalom. Yaseh Shalom. Shalom Aleinu ve'al kol yoshvei tevel.
Shabbat Shalom to everyone. May it be a blessed Shabbat, a beautiful Shabbat, and a lot of gratitude to all of our children leaders once again and our FLAL team for making this happen. Please feel free to grab some s'mores on your way out, some camp swag on your way out, and yasher koach to all of our Kavanot speakers. Thank you for a beautiful Camp Shabbat. Shabbat Shalom u'mivorach.